pictures. I don't like current pictures, but I like
I
former
know.
pictures.
Like, oh. So,
Anyway, yeah, it's just kind
How are you, Sylvia?
of doing good. Kind of morning still, but
Kind of what?
morning, yeah, still. Did you watch the game?
Yeah. Oh, in morning for the Argentina. I see. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a good
I
game. I did watch the game. I was really surprised. I totally expected Argentina to win the game.
Well, you know, honestly, I think they could have won. They had lots of trickery, the other team. They were
Yeah.
kind of like dancing, the stress dancing and
Right.
falling down, and oh my word.
They were quick.
Well, the other team was younger.
Yeah,
Younger
it seemed
team.
like they were a little younger.
They're younger, but they play dirty.
Did they?
Oh yeah. Did you notice how
Well-
they, every time? I mean, they do something to Mason, they didn't even call us at them. I don't know.
I don't
I noticed.
have the public
I'm not very
comment
good
sheet,
at
so I'll
knowing
just make
what's
sure they
legal
say
and
their
what's
name
not.
and
When
where
it
they're
comes to
from.
soccer, the tackles, you know, if you hit the ball as you're going,
Alright.
it's okay, I guess.
Well, there's some things that okay, but I mean, if you're going forward, and
Right.
somebody,
Are you both ready?
I mean,
Okay.
they were, yeah, I mean, they were doing. And the ref were overlooked certain things and.
Okay, we're going to get started. We want to welcome you to our Board of Commissioners meeting. Today's date is July 7th, 2026. The time is 11 a.m. So we're going to call this meeting to order with a roll call.
Commissioner Stubbs here.
Commissioner Mon here. Commissioner Harvey is not here at the moment, so we'll see when he gets here. We do start our meetings with an invocation, so we do offer that to the audience. If anyone in the audience would like to offer it, and then if not, we'll go to staff. We start our meeting with an invocation, so if anyone in the audience would like to offer that, we'll allow that. If not, we'll do one of our staff. Okay. Oh, sure. You come up to the front, use the mic. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful to be here on this day. We're grateful for the safety which we've been given, for the fact that the fires are dying down and that we are no longer in danger. We're grateful for the gift of government which we've been given and the freedom that it provides. We pray that thou wilt give us thy spirit today, that we may be able to deal with the issues facing the county in the way that will be best for its citizens and reflect best on our form of government. And we pray for this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for being willing to do that. Can you set your timer for the public comment?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to have our Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Stubbs, will you lead us in the pledge?
Okay. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, we'll declare if anyone has a conflict of interest on our agenda, Commissioner
As
Stubbs.
far as I can see, I don't.
Okay, and neither do I. All right, we're going to move into the public comment portion of our meeting. I will read a statement and then we'll get to that. The purpose of the San Juan County Commission meeting is to conduct business in a public setting as provided by law. We truly value and welcome public comment as it gives citizens an important opportunity to share concerns and suggestions that strengthen our county. To ensure that everyone has a fair opportunity to speak, comments are limited to 3 minutes and should focus on county programs and operations. Objective criticism is welcome. However, complaints about specific county personnel or private individuals will not be permitted. Please understand that public comment is not a debate or question and answer session, and an immediate response from commission should not be expected. If you would like more information or further discussion, a member of our staff will be happy to assist you to set up a follow-up meeting. We appreciate your participation and your willingness to be involved in your county government. Okay, we'll first go to our audience to see if anyone would like to make a comment. And if you do, we're asked that you state your name and where you're from, and then we will set a timer for 3 minutes. Steve, you're going to come up? Okay. Welcome. And just pull the mic down to your mouth, will you?
What's that?
Pull the mic to your mouth. Then we can hear you.
That work?
Yep, thank you.
Oh. My name is Steve Pearson, longtime resident of San Juan County, Utah. Nowhere other than the Four Corners has ever been my life, or have I lived. Never over 100 miles from where I live now. Was born here. I have. In 1982, we moved back to the Navajo Reservation. My wife and I both did. We both grew up here. It's our life, our home. We was instrumental in making improvements on our home and our community around us. We were instrumental in building the roads and helped in any way we could possibly for the development and the improvements in the system. But now everything is reverted back just about to the normal like it was before we ever started on this project. The Navajo tribe has taken all of the maintenance on what was San Juan County roads, has assumed all of the maintenance and allocate just what they think needs to be going where, the maintenance and the roads and stuff. What they're not taking in consideration is that the fact that the deterioration of the roads and the harm and the hard times it is on school buses and school kids and people like that. The roads are impassable now. They're beyond maintenance. Now they have to have repairs to ever be serviceable. I think it's wrong for the San Juan County and the state of Utah to be pulling all of the maintenance, the purchase, the insurance, and everything on the school buses and run them on roads that are not fit to be run on with a wheelbarrow, let alone a vehicle. It's going to get somebody hurt one of these days. Some kid's going to get bucked off of a seat, damaged, and going to turn right around and sue the state of Utah for damages. And there's nothing anybody can do except just live with it. I think that the buses should be removed until the roads and the stuff maintenance is performed. It's not only the school buses, it's the other people that are dependent on the roads. They have to go to work, they have to drive, they tear their vehicles up all the time. Nobody helps them with their expense. The federal government has allotments for money for every one of these roads. It should be looked up to and see where is all of these designated funds, how are they distributed, who is getting paid for what. San Juan County maintains a lot of these roads, but they're not being paid for what they do. They're not. And that is wrong. the maintenance should be taken care of by money that was actually allotted to the maintenance of the roads. The Utah corridor is bottom of the list for everything on the roads, and that's just not right. I don't know of any other way to open anybody's eyes except take the buses away from them. They have absolutely not 1 cent of their allocation goes into anything in the school board that I'm aware of. I don't think they pay for anything. And it's just, why should we assume that burden and pay for it twice? I don't think that's right.
Okay, that is your time.
Appreciate your time. Nice to meet all of you folks. Your new commissioners that I don't know, welcome aboard.
Thank you. And we appreciate you coming in. Okay, do I have anyone else in the audience who'd like to make a public comment? Thank
Bye-bye,
you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
I can't get it to go loud.
You don't have to do it.
Okay, if you'll state your name and where you're from, thank you.
My name's Ed Williamson. I'm from the other end of San Juan County, over with the Heathens, over by Moab. I live on Mount Peel and McElhaney Lane, San Juan County Estates. I'm sure you guys have heard of that. They've also been called the cash cow. I moved there wanting to raise my family. I raised my family. My wife died in my arms there. I used to work for LeGrand Johnson. I've been all over this county, on every road, every street. You guys have a beautiful city. I'm glad that you guys do. I had to, they're building in my backyard. You know, with all these new ways that you change the building codes and everything. Well, you let all these businesses in. It was a residential area. You let all these businesses in, and they ruined this neighborhood. There were 72 lots that was allotted. That meant 72 families. I had to get 60 signatures. I spent 2 weeks. I went around to all my neighbors. I have 35 signatures. I have 5 more neighbors to go see. Now I could go to all these other people that own the property. You know, all these overnight rentals, B&Es that are all over my neighborhood. One guy has 8 places. I can get 16 signatures from him. Another guy has 7. I can probably get 24 from him. But I went to my neighbors and I asked them if it was all right if I subdivided my property and sold, because I'm getting out. You know, that was a neighborhood. That was a nice family. You know, I have a lot of friends that used to live up there. You know, the school bus used to drop kids off. There'd be 5 or 6 kids going up the street, each corner. Now there's 1 or 2. My neighbors are people from Salt Lake. They're from California, Texas. And, you know, I have a little road, a little wash that goes up by my place. And these people think that's an off-road trail. I plant flowers and they drive over them. So I started spiking my road. You know, I had to do something. I caught one. But, you know, you let these people in. You know, it was a neighborhood. And, you know, I'm going to go see if I can buy a permit with what I have, with the signatures I have, because I went to my neighbors. I didn't go to a business. But, you know, it's a shame that this is happening. And I just want to tell you, it's going on in Moab. They're building in Blanding, Blanding and Bluff. They're coming. They're coming here. And they're going to be in your backyard one day. And I hope you protect yourself, because you didn't me. I have 5 other people that are ready to sell, to these contractors to get out. You know, that's a shame. You had a nice little community up there, and it's a sandbox now. I'm sorry for my language, but you know, I'm being calm. And I'm a little irate about this because this is happening. You know, I wanted to die in my house. You know, that wasn't too much to ask. But I have, you know, on the weekends, I have such a light show. All these guys that have all these big lights on their rigs, well, they have to drive up and down my street because they can't see where they're going. They think they're in a canyon. You know, this is what is coming. And I just hope you guys are prepared for it. Now I'm going to go talk to the building inspector and see if I can get this passed. And I hope I have your permission. Because if I don't, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm at my wit's end here. And like I say, I have 5 other people that are ready to sell. And they're waiting to see what I do today. And I told them I'd be calm. And I'm trying my best. And I thank you for your time, and that's all I have.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments.
You bet.
Okay, do I have anyone else that's going to make a public comment? Okay, do I have anyone online? If you do, will you unmute yourself and give your name? Okay. All right, we will move to our consent agenda. So our consent agenda is just our routine matters, and so our first item on the consent. Oh, time out. We have the wrong agenda up. We do have the wrong one. Just a moment, we're going to get the right one. Everything's routine until we get to the business and it's not correct. So I apologize. I should have caught that. Okay. Sorry. We have July 7th up. We said July 20th. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We're flexible.
This thing blasts me out of bed in the morning. Is it? You know,
It's put her around the
can't figure out.
room.
It's weird.
Good thing you're here. Sorry. You're fine.
I usually wake up before it goes off. Because I don't know
How I did that?
It's like
It's all right.
a horn. I usually start waking up in the
I-
cupboard.
I just said the date. Did I say the 7th in the record, or did I say the date, 21st?
I don't remember.
Because sometimes I just read it.
Yeah.
So just double check it, will you, and change it. Sorry, Lyman.
No, we're good.
You can just restate it.
I pulled up the 21st on my agenda. That's
Oh.
what I'm recording on.
Okay. I'll just restate it. We shouldn't seem so helpless, but we kind of,
We're at the mercy of the technology.
we are.
Is that okay?
Sure. Let me just scroll down and make sure I've got my on each one. Yep, that works great. Thank you, Rosa. Okay, little technical difficulties, but we're back on. And so just to clarify for the record, I don't remember if I read the date of the agenda that was up, and it would have been July 7th, but today's date is July 21st. So just to clarify that. So with our consent agenda, we have the approval of the July 7th, 2026 commission meeting minutes, approval of June 16th, 2026 commission meeting minutes, approval of the check registers, May 23rd through July 3rd, and then July 4th through July 16th. Approval and appointment of Ricky Eldridge to serve on the San Juan County Mental Health Board for a 4-year term. Approval of the San Juan Children's Justice Center fiscal year 2027 between the state of Utah and San Juan County amended for contract budget and scope of work. Approval of the Community Library Enhancement Fund between the state of Utah and San Juan County. Approval of the 2026 annual agreement between Utah Legal Services and San Juan County to provide legal assistance to elderly population of San Juan County. And approval of the MOU between Blanding City and San Juan County for emergency public alerting and IPAWS. So do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay. And I will second it. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Commissioner.
Okay. We'll move to our business action items. Our first one is consideration approval of the San Juan Counseling Medicaid match with State of Utah Human Health and Human Services, Mental Health and Substance Abuse. Tammy Squires, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. And just a clarification, it's not Medicaid match, it is state contract match. And so the amount that I'm asking for, it's the amount that I presented back in November, my budget amount, and it is the 20% county match requirement for the mental health and substance use disorder contracts. That's in state code 17-77301 and 201, the 20% match requirement. So that's just the amount that I am asking for. Do you guys have any questions?
Do you have any questions, Commissioner?
Well, I was gonna, that was one of the questions I was gonna have about what was the local match. I couldn't read it because it was kind of sideways in small print on my computer. So I just thought I'd ask. And the reason I ask you questions, some of the time I know the answer, and I expressed that to the department this morning. I ask questions as the public watch the meeting. Sometimes they don't have a background on what we're talking about. So anything they're asking you, I may know the answer or may not, but I just figure if they know a little bit background of what we're talking, it's just for the public, which I feel is a boss, and sometimes they have a question. And I told the departments not to feel like I'm checking on them or anything, just curiosity, and trying to facilitate for the public to be informed. I wanted to understand a little bit more about your program. And one of the questions I had, how did you interact with like the sheriff department or schools or anything? We seem to have lots of mental issues. I mean, with children, with, and I think as time go by, it's going to be more because we are, as humans, we not associating with each other. We're more with, with technology and things like that. So I wasn't sure if your program reaches out to schools or it's just, can you just tell a little bit about that program?
Yeah, I can. So with the schools, we have a current MOU with the school district. We go in and we send therapists to as many schools in the school district that will take us and that have the needs there. So, I mean, it's summertime, so we don't have any of our therapists going into the schools right now. But during the regular school year, we have therapists going in to all of the schools that provide services in the schools to the students there that the need is there for.
Did you have to do anything with, with the public safety building as far as the jails or anything like that?
So we have moved some of our opioid funding, settlement dollars funding into providing services in the jail. Mm-hmm. So we have a therapist that goes up to the jail once a week and they provide service, individual and group therapy up in the jail. And we meet with law enforcement at least quarterly to talk about needs and everything that arises. And we're in close contact with them, especially with our mobile crisis outreach teams. We're always talking with law enforcement. So we are doing those things.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I was just trying to find out what's the match and also a little bit more about the program.
Yeah, and the allocation letter that's attached, that's the funding that we get from the state. And the way that the code is written is that any general appropriated funds that come through the state, the county then has to match at 20%. without that funding that we get from you guys, that gives us the money that we can draw down from the state. And with the money that we can draw down from the state, then that means that we can make our Medicaid match and draw down that funding from Medicaid for the services that we provide.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Harvey, I have some comments. First of all, apologies for my late arrival. I had some rain in Montezuma Creek, and I had to celebrate extra this morning to enjoy the rain and drive through the puddles. So just to support San Juan Counseling, Tammy has actually helped a lot in the suicide prevention initiative. In fact, her genius was giving me some pencils with their number for emergency for service on those carpenter pencils. And it's a hit among all the Native men who are too macho to ask for or to seek for help. And so at the chapter meetings, I give those pencils out, and I share that San Juan Council is an important resource for our communities, especially when, you're looking for support that is outside. I think the biggest challenge for natives down south is a lot of the people that work in UNHS, they know each other. But up with Tammy and her crew, they're new and they're also professionals and they care. And so I think that's really helpful for us as Native men, because the last thing we ask for is help. But now we have that number for Native American men. All of a sudden they're measuring stuff and they'll notice that number there. And also, they also do a lot of important work with DCFS. A lot of the parents who are struggling with mental health, substance abuse, they work through court-ordered services. The therapists write up the progress reports for the courts, and they're submitted before the judge to show, the parents are working towards their goal of recovery. And that's an essential piece to all the community members that are there that need that support: substance abuse, mental health. And I know that just like public health monies, we have to match. This is a state grant funded program, and county has the requirement to put down their part too. And I think that's the part that Tammy needs. And so, and also I think their work with MCOT, Tammy, her crew, so generous to UNHS and carving out those funds as a pass-through for Utah Navajo Health. That money is being used so that UNHS is able to respond to families in crisis within the jurisdiction of the Navajo Nation. And if we can have more of that kind of collaboration and support for our Native families a little further south, that would be so, that's a model, and that's just amazing work. And I'm grateful for that, because that's boots on the ground, making a difference for families who normally can't access mental health services, especially in a time of crisis. We just lost 2 more community members 2 months ago. It's been so devastating. There's work to be done. And so that's the important part about mental health and Tammy's group and the work she's doing to support all of us here in our county. That's all I wanted to highlight. And thank you, Madam Chair.
Can I just say one more thing? I don't want people think I was questioning us donating money. I don't have the advantage Commissioner Harvey has because he works with you guys. And so I just wanted to, for my information, also for the public, to ask. I don't think there's better dollar spent than to do programs, especially on suicide, and you know why, huh? And I think that programs on the school where teachers and students can learn to notice some of the classmates that maybe are struggling, and sometimes we don't have to do anything other than probably just back up a little bit and don't add to their burdens, and so, and I like the idea of the pencils, that is a good idea, and I'm sure there's so many wonderful ideas that we put it into practice, but anyway, thank you. I'm glad for the spending money. It's a worthwhile spending money.
Madam Chair, motion to approve with a request that Tammy take out from under, what is that? Mental health services. And let's do our own mental health services down here.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Harvey to approve the contract.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
commissioners, and thank you for your support and for your kind words, Commissioner Harvey. I appreciate hearing that.
All right, consideration approval of the public safety building project design modification number 2, Sam Long Facilities.
Good morning, Commissioners. So what we've got is with the public safety building project, we've gotten quite a ways down the road in the design process. As we've gotten farther along, we have gotten some more specific construction cost estimates, which is showing that we are significantly over budget. In order to resolve some of those budget issues, we're looking at a change in the design of the project. And so this item is an agreement to modify the current contract with AJC Architects in order to make changes to that design. Like I said, we're trying to bring it into budget. I think that's going to be very difficult. We should get closer through this process, but I do anticipate that we will also need to go back to the CIB for some additional funding. Any questions?
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to ask questions just for, when we talk about correction, when renovation test fit, what do you mean by that? I mean, I probably can understand, but if somebody's watching and
Yes.
reading that, can you explain a little bit? about
So,
that?
yeah, so the design process happens in a few different stages.
Okay.
One of the beginning stages of that is just to kind of explore what the needs are for the project, what we're trying to accomplish. And once we get, that's kind of a rough sketch. And once we get that kind of ironed out, then we can go into the details of the design and the actual architecture. So this is talking about just that concept test fit is kind of that rough draft,
Okay,
just
so
to
it
make
kinda-
sure that we're designing for the needs of the programs in the building.
Okay, thank you. And also, I had, so maybe this is a question for when you bring the rest of the project. I had another question, but I'll just leave it at that. I just wanted to have that explained.
Okay,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Do you have any questions, Commissioner Harvey?
No, I think this is just, we're trying to get our project done, and Sam is trying to figure out the best approach to, let's keep moving forward. I think that's the intent. So motion to approve.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, stay there.
Yep.
Consideration and approval of the general service contract between Rocky Mountain Power and San Juan County.
Yes. So, as I think you all know, the county landfill does not have a connection to utility power. Right now, they are operating off of a small solar system, combination of a small solar system and a generator to provide power to their facilities. This really isn't feasible in the long term with the additional programming and needs that they're going to have there. Really need to have full-scale utility power there. So this contract is with Rocky Mountain Power to provide construction for the new power poles, transmission lines, transformers, everything that we need to get power to the landfill. This has been a multi-year process to get to this point. So we definitely want to try to get this moved along, and this contract will lock us in on that process.
Go ahead.
I have a question, not a question, a comment. Lots of people like me, when I first went to visit the landfill, I saw all these power lines, and you assume the power's there. But it takes a different infrastructure to set up to be able to
Yes.
download from those powers.
Yep. We will be connecting to those power lines that you see there,
Yeah.
but they are very high voltage.
Yeah. And I did not know that. I thought, man,
Yes.
they were operating with a lot more primitive stuff in those days.
Yeah.
And so,
Yes.
yeah. So I thought you're surrounded with power, but it's the wrong voltage and things like that, and it takes a different
Yep.
project to create an infrastructure that can be able to do that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any questions, Commissioner Harvey?
I know that when I go there, a lot of us down south, we're users of the landfill, and it's valuable service. It's a new building now. It used to be in a single wide trailer, and now it's a little more fancy. You drive up to the window and you show your card. I think this is just more growth, and this is important as we continue to focus on what do we do with the capacity. At least we have the connection that needs to be there. There's a lot of equipment, I'm sure, that's there. Maybe in the future on weekends, cards charge double for the gates to open so we can dump on weekends, because we need that. I'm going to keep bringing that up. But motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Commissioners.
This contract's been a long time in coming.
Yes.
So, okay, thank you. All right, our next one is a resolution of the San Juan County Board of Commissioners adopting accounts payable and budget reporting procedures for the department heads. Deputy Attorney Nilsson.
Good morning, Commissioners. This resolution comes before you after some work done by Lyman's office, the Treasurer's office, and HR. It's part legal, part what works best for the different departments. So, as you recall, this came before the commission some time ago. It's been reworked, details attended to, and so forth. It's not really been my project. I don't have all that much background on it. I did review it, and it does represent what HR, the Treasurer's Department, and the clerk's office feel will work for purchasing. If you have any questions or concerns, I'll do my best to answer, or
Okay.
Lyman can help me a little bit maybe.
I was hoping that I can have some answer, but you already said that you haven't
Oh, I've
been
got
part of
answers.
it.
You just throw it at me. So I'll
Haven't
have to
been
give you
part
some
of
good
the
answers.
project. My thing is that in looking into this, I think there's going to be a process that sometime. My question is, should this be a resolution? Because a resolution is more concrete, or should be something that we start as a being something somewhere in a how to do book or how to manage the county or how to do, so we can change it and then to go into a resolution. Because we bring resolution, they sometimes, I mean, it's not presented by the people that wrote it. I mean, I wish they were here so they can probably, make comments on that. But to me, I take a resolution something very serious, something that we have given a lot of thought, especially the midnight. What about it? The one on Wednesday night, the deadline. What happened? I think about vendors. I think about people trying to buy things, and maybe work for certain departments. But we're always going to have, the way I see it, we're going to have times where somebody's going to be breaking the resolution because the way it's set up. And so that's my concern. To me, is bring it as a resolution the very beginning without having put it to test. And, I don't know how Lima feels or HR feels, but to me, seems like it should be tested for a while and then maybe brought as a resolution. I don't know if we have a book of rules or it could be updated so we can have it really workable, being fair to all the departments, because some departments probably they don't have that many. It'd be easy for them to meet the deadline. I was just trying to figure out. I don't know, but
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. We have actually implemented this policy. Last week was our first week of using this. And I was kind of surprised when I saw that it was a resolution because it was I would view it as an internal accounting policy. And we have numerous accounting policies that we're always following at any given time. And I know that it needed to come before the commissioners, but beyond that, don't know if it was a thumbs up or approval or.
I didn't hear it till I just saw it, and to me, in looking at it, it looks like something rules that can be resolution. I take it seriously. It's something that's more permanent. It's something that I stamp in my name on it, and so, and I'm not saying they cannot come a resolution, but I think it should be tested, and I don't know what intention, who participated, and we can come and read a program what it says and make comments, but if we have not participated, I cannot say that I participated. I heard about it and I saw more as rules. So to me, I I think it can become a resolution, but I don't know why it's a resolution.
Go ahead, Commissioner Harvey.
Madam Chair, first of all, thank you, Jens, for putting together the resolution as requested, and the work behind the intent of this. I know that when we approve this resolution, we'll all be signing as commissioners, and it's going to be, we're going to hear a lot of these words in the future, I promise you. More local control. And I think this is part of that process. But I do want to mention, and I also value Commissioner Stubbs's questions as well. But, this has actually been in the making. The department heads, our county department heads have been coming together and planning on focusing on efficiency. What can we do internally to overcome stagnant payment process? What can we do to not have to be so bureaucratically bogged down? And what can we do to be more efficient in paying our bills, getting simple things that are within our own department budgets paid for without having that layered bureaucratic process? But the department heads have been meeting over the past year now and doing a group think. What can we do? What changes do we need to make? What can help this process so that we're paying our bills on time, we're paying our invoices on time, we're paying our credit cards on time, we're applying our internal budgets to the expenses that are incurred, and that we have a streamlined process. So I know they have talked about an efficient solution. It's highlighted in the resolution, and the now therefore be it resolved part. And I think in a sense, this will be approved. The work that the department heads have put together, completed together, is now highlighted, and we as commissioners are putting our stamp of approval, saying we appreciate your work. We accept your processes that you have put in place to follow for yourselves internally, and we support the effort to be more efficient and effective. That's what this is. And I truly believe that for us as leaders, acknowledging that work is important. And if it doesn't work, we can change it too. We can make it better. We can always refine. But for now, there's a system that has been worked together that works. They decided what works best for them. They're the ones doing the day-to-day. And we're acknowledging that. And so, Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion to approve.
Can I make another comment, please, Madam Chair?
Sure.
Hey, Trainer. Now I've got HR behind me.
Oh,
Nobody
okay.
can stop us
No,
now.
I was just gonna say, I totally agree that we need this. I just feel like, like Lyman said he wasn't aware that we did that resolution. You admitted that you did not work on this.
Well, not quite that way.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I can clarify when you're done.
Okay, can you clarify a little bit?
Yeah, so there are statutory requirements when you're dealing with county funds. You got a treasurer's office, you got a clerk's office, they have their different roles. One thing this does is brings all of that into compliance with the statute. And because there's kind of a history of maybe things not running as well, raising it to the level of a resolution solidifies with everybody that, hey, this is an important thing here. This represents a lot of work, and I'll let Tranner explain maybe more about how he's worked with the department heads, but bringing it before you in the form of a resolution shows how important it is and how serious it is, and it has teeth so that we can enforce it. So that's one of the reasons for the resolution. And as Commissioner Harvey said, it can be refined over time if something that still complies with the statute would work a little better.
Well, one comment I will, just a little bit of background, is that what it did is it was a think tank by the department heads, but it also made both sides responsible instead of finger pointing, because one was saying this, one was saying this, and they actually came up with the rules and consequences, which held both sides accountable. So
Right. So how this came about? So it was probably it wasn't the last department head meeting we had 2 weeks ago. It was the one before that, and it was first the admin meeting. I brought it up in admin meeting. Hey, these are the issues. This is what we're hearing from department heads. these are issues, these are late fee problems. They want to process. We heard from the clerk auditor's office that, hey, we have a process. Let's put it on paper. So now we can hold them to the fire and they can hold us to the fire. And so then it was presented in department head meeting 2 weeks ago. The discussion happened, the dates, the timelines. I think we discussed one of the department heads full day ends at 5:30. Another one doesn't stop until 9. So we discussed different topics, different things that went into this, just because we're going to start holding them to the fire. And so then it was decided, details were decided on it as department heads. And to what Jens just explained and what Commissioner Mon, at this point, we need to have something where we can say, hey, Tranner, you turned your invoice in late on Thursday. It's not getting paid till the next pay run the following week because we have this process in place. And so up to this point, it's all we've worked off of processes that aren't solidified, and we've ran into issues with late fees and questions and who's responsible, who's to blame. And so this gives us the teeth that Jens was talking about to say, hey, Vicky printed the checks that were submitted by Wednesday night at midnight. And so your invoice wasn't in there. It's your fault. You're paying it out of your budget.
And I understand all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand all of that. I just thought that, if it can be texted and then bring it to a resolution, because we have resolution, we keep bringing
Right.
a resolution and we keep thinking we're going to make change. The changes never happen. And so I think
And it was decided in that department head meeting. And so
there was
I've-
going to be a resolution.
so it was decided what the policy was going to be. So I can't tell you it was decided it was going to be in a resolution, but I can tell you it was written that it would be the policy, which then the
agree,
policy
yeah.
would need to come before the commission to be
Well,
a policy in
yeah,
place.
well, that's why I agree with all I heard here, what you're saying. I agree what he's saying. I agree that probably had to have a resolution. But if we haven't, I haven't as a commission, participate and looking at this and saying I support this as a resolution.
Right.
So so to me, I'm saying let's do it as a policy and revisit and turn it into at that time we can turn it into a resolution, because resolution should be something. It's not a stamp approval on something that we, trying to say we don't know all the facts. But I wasn't part, so I cannot speak for the other commission. Maybe they were part of the drafting the resolution, but I wasn't. So, and that's where I'm coming from. And I totally agree with what you and everybody else trying to do. I think we need to have some, hold people to be responsible, but we also have to test and see where can we tweak things, or if we were happy, how it's working. Then come,
Well, I
everybody- then
think-
we as a commission, the commission makes 3 people. Then we can decide.
I think if you read the resolution, I was just reviewing it, and it doesn't spell out the policy because it's the resolution. I could have this all messed up and backwards.
It just refers.
It refers, yes, it refers to the policy or the guidelines that were discussed and implemented. And so I don't know the difference between a resolution and a policy as far as, and maybe that's what Jamie was getting to, but I know this isn't saying we have to hold Vicky to this and that, and it's still changeable. It's referring to referring to the stuff we put into place.
We just passed policy by resolution.
Madam Chair, maybe this will help too. So here is the procedures that the department heads have together cooperatively created. And it's a 2-page procedure, and it outlines the responsibility. So this is what the resolution will, in a sense,
And that's what's came from that meeting.
the policy that the department heads had put together, we will adopt as commissioners. And once it's adopted, our county leaders, the department heads will apply the policy, administrate their funding, and it'll become effective.
So when was adopted as a commissioner, so?
Today is the day we are adopting it.
Through the resolution, correct? Through the resolution, we'll adopt.
So San Juan County, we adopt things through resolution.
Well, yeah, so if,
And so that's why the resolution is attached with the policy. Otherwise, you just,
the county, like every county, wants to have a resolution stating that they have adopted a purchasing policy that complies with the different statutes, and what's required of the different departments. As Tranner pointed out, the resolution is just saying that, and the policy is the detail. So the policy can be revised as needed. If we didn't have a resolution to adopt a purchasing policy, people on the outside would wonder why not. That's an important thing. You got to have that. I was going to say it's required by statute, but I don't have this code section to cite, so I'm not going to say that. But I think that it sounds like Commissioner Stubbs is saying, "Hey, all this stuff's gone on, and I haven't been involved. I'm not aware of it." And so, if the commissioners feel like they want to go study the product of the department heads before they approve it, that's totally fine. But the way that the commissioners are made aware is either sitting in on all those meetings, which a lot of times you're not, you only have so many hours and can be in so many places in a day. So the way to be aware is either do that, or the packet comes to you and you review it and say, "Oh, this looks good, and I know that the departments have approved it and so forth. I'm good with it." But if you need more time and want to look through it, that's acceptable as
Can I
well.
make a motion?
well, we already have a motion on the table, so we have to address that first. So Commissioner Harvey made a motion to approve this. So do I have a second to approve this motion, his motion to adopt this?
I can, well,
So
I think as a commissioner, all three in person and being present to the meetings. I mean, I was in the meetings and I listened where we talk. As a commissioner, all three had to be present and talk and not have this kind of discussion here. We can say, go over and see this at work, this at work. And because it's a very divisive situation in this situation, because I would approve it if I would have worked with it, have the opportunity to be approached, but I haven't had the opportunity. So if I say no, it makes it look like I don't support the departments, and I do.
So just to clarify, and Tranner, you can clarify after me as well. This was entirely in the department head meetings, which we were in the department head meetings, and then this was a reflection. Plus, then once the draft went out, I went back out, and then did come back, and then there was a review again on it. So this is not the first time that it's come. This is the second or third, if I believe.
Department heads have had 2 revised emails out to them with
Yeah.
the discussion in the department head meeting.
Yeah,
I think
and
to
I was
commis-
present to all those meetings.
To Commissioner Stubbs' point, I think my question, and this is apart from this, would be what process would we like the county to follow with this? Like the other policies we brought have been a similar process where we've had input from a commissioner that's been there or not, but that's gone out. It's gone out multiple times, gone to legal and come back, and we brought it to commission. I mean, we can follow whatever procedures or whatever you guys want in place with this. But this is up to this point with the 3 or 4 we've reviewed. This has been the same procedure
Yeah.
with the policies we brought.
Yeah, but I think we have to be present in order to judge what happened in the meetings. And we haven't had time, the 3 of us, to sit down and talk about it. And then we
Right.
make decisions here quickly,
Which
and it
and-
becomes very divisive. That's why I say.
Which
because
is
I
right, but just so for the record, and I don't mean to speak over you, Commissioner Stubbs, but the other policies that have been passed through a resolution here in commission meeting were not discussed behind closed doors with commissioners or made I mean,
Well-
to put that on record, that's something that
And doesn't mean
wasn't
that,
brought to the three commissioners in person with a decision to be made.
and that doesn't mean there was a right to do it that way, though. Now
And
we
it
are,
it wasn't done that way in the past. Is just what I wanted to make sure we
Yeah.
understood.
Well,
Yeah.
you also have to keep in mind the Open Meetings Act. You deliberations on these kind of things are supposed
Well,
to be in a public.
yeah, I understand that too.
which
It's
is
just, yeah,
what we're doing here, but
yeah.
Okay. So, Commissioner Harvey made a motion. Do I have a second? If not, I'll second the motion. And then I'm going to ask for a vote. So all in favor, say aye. Aye.
I stand by what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
We just can't keep doing it this way. And
So are you a
and- but
yay
I
or
do
a nay?
I do support the principle. I support the ideas, but not. We can't continue doing this process anyway. So
So, okay, so I need a vote. Are you a yay or a nay?
I'll just abstain from.
Okay. So I think what we'll need to do is, I'm not sure how Commissioner Harvey feels on the process. I feel like we have followed the processes we have in the past. So if that's something that we would need to review as commissioners, we can bring that up in the future for that discussion. Okay, we do not have any public hearings and we do not have closed sessions, so we will go to commission reports. So are either of you ready to report?
I can take you can go ahead. I just take a few minutes too.
Commissioner Harvey, are you ready? You want me to?
Sure. Let's start from Navajo Revitalization Fund. We had our Navajo Revitalization Fund last week. What day was it, Commissioner Stubbs?
Was it 17? I don't know. Seems like it's the last Wednesday.
It was on a Wednesday. And at the Revitalization Fund meeting, Commissioner Stubbs was there, and the membership of the Navajo Revitalization Fund is myself, Commissioner Stubbs, Bill Totachitney from Anath Chapter, and also not Paul, but the chair from the state. But if you're not familiar with the Navajo Revitalization Funds, it's the taxes from the oil and gas that is collected and from the reservation compiled by the state, and then the state returns it back to the local chapters, allocates funds for projects to Anath, to Red Mesa, to Mexican Water, to Old Jato, and Navajo Mountain. And Commissioner Stubbs and I had the opportunity to support, it was Mexican Water Chapter that had some housing requests, and so we were able to do funding for housing, new construction of housing. We also supported the local Red Mesa chapter and getting housing for their community. We also had a local group here who provided youth services to the Old Jato youth community, and they renovated a facility where they brought together youth to hold a summer camp. And we're just working through the details of making sure that ownership of the building has been completed and documented with the Navajo Nation. Just kind of like the county documents property being sold and now belongs to this person, that kind of a thing. And there was a particular project that the county had included for a water project. And so we're looking into that, but we have extended that funding, and it was something like 320,000 in those amounts for a water project. And so now what we've done is we've made a request to let's get that project back front and center, and let's look at the intention of that project so we know what it was meant for. So if there is a need to revise the project with the new cost, then we can. And I have an ulterior motive, and I promise it's a good ulterior motive. Perhaps maybe there might be an opportunity to use those fundings for the Children's Justice Center, but don't quote me yet, because we need to first find out more about the water project. So Navajo Revitalization Funds projects that were approved. The funding is on the state's fiscal year calendar. So the state fiscal year allocation begins July 1st, and the fiscal year ends June 31st. So we just allocated funds for fiscal year 2027. And so now there's funding, new funding that's available for the chapters. And I think with the recent meeting, the chapters were able to spend down some of those allocations. So it's a good experience. I think that's how a lot of Native American families are able to utilize that funding resource to help with housing, which is a huge need back on the reservation. So our next meeting is going to be most likely in September, I believe. So that'll be our next meeting. There is a Utah Navajo Trust Fund from Commissioner Stubbs and I's area. Utah Navajo Trust Fund will be having their annual meeting in Orem, Utah on August the 1st. That should be a Saturday. And it'll be from 8 a.m. to about 5. The purpose of the Utah Navajo Trust Fund meeting is to look into the policies of the trust fund. Trust fund also manages oil and gas revenue that the state collects in behalf of Utah Navajos. If you are aware, the state of Utah collects 33.5% of oil and gas royalties for the Utah Navajos, and then Navajo Nation takes the bigger balance. There's more I can say about that, but I'll just leave it at that. And the trust fund manages, just like revitalization funds, those royalties, and also allocates funding for chapters, for housing, for electrical connection, just like the project that Sam and the landfill brought, funding the cost of purchasing a connection to a residence or a water line construction. And so the trust fund has policies such as the student scholarship policy, housing policy, electrical assistance policies, archaeological clearance assessment funding, because it does cost money to get those studies done, to get a home site lease. But the point is, the annual meeting looks at those policies, asks questions, just like today with the accounts payable policy. Is our internal controls and policies working? Are they effective? Are they providing enough structure for the community members? And Are they clear? And are we creating more barriers to access these fundings for the beneficiaries? So we're evaluating all the trust fund policies at the annual meeting, and we're also most likely going to talk about some other projects. I know one of those projects has been what can we do with the old sewing plant in Montezuma Creek? It's old. It's a huge building. What can be done there? Maybe we can lease it out to an oil company and make it a business hub or something. That's been some of the subjects that has been talked about. Another example is what can we do to grow more housing where the trust fund owns property. And right now I know in Montezuma Creek, we have a lot of providers that come out of the area traveling down. Maybe it might be an idea to open up a section of the trust fund land to invest in housing for physicians. Those kinds of topics also come up, and investing in housing. So that's just an example of some of the kind of like long-term projects to prioritize. And so that's going to be August the 1st up north. I know that a lot of our leaders in our respective communities of Aneth, Mexican Water, Red Mesa, Old Jado, they're probably going to say, why are you guys going up north and holding meetings off the res when you need to be front and center here in our communities? The reason why is because the day before, on July 31st, the governor's office, the state is holding a tribal summit up at UVU. And a lot of us, including the tribal leaders themselves, who might say, why are you meeting up north and not here on the res? It's because they're also going to be up there having a seat at the state, meeting with some of the state department heads. There's a tribal summit happening next week, beginning on Wednesday, Thursday, for the elected tribal leaders. They will be scheduled to meet with all the state agencies such as workforce services, public safety, natural resources. And that's when the state agencies sit with the tribes and they talk about what can we do to be more effective in providing services in your communities. And it's kind of an opportunity for tribal leadership to have direct dialogue with the state agencies. And sometimes economic developments there, and tribes will say we need support in finding ways to create more businesses on the reservation. That's just an example. Wednesday and Thursday. Friday is a general day where the tribes and the public, general public's invited. They come down and they just talk about some of the priorities from the 8 Utah tribes. If you're not familiar with who the 8 Utah tribes are, the Utah tribes and the 8 Utah tribes is Navajo Nation, Uinta Ute tribe, Shoshone tribe, Goshute tribe, the 5-band Paiute tribe out of Cedar City, the San Juan Paiute tribe, the White Mesa tribe, and I'm probably missing someone else, but I promise you there's 8. and they will all be there. The hope is all the tribal leaders will be there, and they're talking about priorities that they want to see, to ask the state and the governor to help support in their communities. And so that's a day of let's talk about these priorities and figure out ways to work and collaborate. So that's all happening next week. So I hope to see you commissioners, your happy, shiny faces there. If time allows you, I have to be up there because that's part of my other day job. But then I'm there for the Utah Navajo Trust Fund. And I'm so sorry I'm being long-winded about my report, but maybe that's enough time to give Commissioner Stubbs all of her points for her report. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. First I wanted to announce that Shauna Shamway was nominated the Cowgirl of San Juan County. I had the privilege, this is my second time I working on this process. Last time was Merlin Grover as being the cowboy, and this time was so nice to get a female one representing the county. And the process of selecting, anybody can nominate or nominate as many as you want to, and then the committee goes through the process and select the person that best represents San Juan County. I was so impressed by Shauna Shamway and all the things she has accomplished in our county, not only as a businesswoman, she take care of the orphan babies, cattle. I used to watch her feeding them and taking care of them, and I didn't realize they were the little orphans that she was taking care of, and many, many things. And I just, if you know her and see her, just congratulate her. She was very taken by the nomination, and they're having a rodeo on the 23rd where she's going to be honored. Another thing I want to talk a little bit about the fire. It's contained, and people think it's over or out. No, contained meaning it's corral, but the fire's going to keep burning for it to run out of fuel, or into the rains if you got good rains coming down to put it out. With the rain, we'll have another issue, and that is flash floods and whatever comes down with the waters, and worrying about our water sources and all those things. So we're not out of the wood, but I wanted to, in a way to tell you we were very blessed. The prayers of the community have been answered, and there were things that it's, probably this is not the place, but knowing that winds were changed course in a manner that they could not explain how that happened, and the monsoon came early than normal, and so we are, as a people, have been blessed, and I see unity there, and I hope that this will, as we look at the mountain, we remember that when we work united with, we can accomplish a lot more. I did, Commissioner Harvey talk a lot about NRF. It's like he described what is a organization. They help with infrastructure type of things, and one of the things that I get excited about that is every time, and I wish I had a bell that can ring every time somebody gets a home down south, and we have been able to work through a special project in unity with Tony Day's group, which is the San Juan, with Navajo Trust Fund, and we partner in those special projects, and more homes have been built. Lots of homes have been built in the Remesa chapter area, and some of the chapters don't use the fund, like they sit on the funds. And I like the comments from Delegate Torricini, the delegate to the nation, is kind of like basically a senator or congressman to the Navajo Nation. He made the comment that we need to talk to those people. They're not using the funds to. It's a fund. It's not the chapter fund. It's the people funds. And I was glad that he had the courage and way to support that. That we need to move those funds so people can get more people get housing. One of the things we had, issues we have in the reservation right now had to deal with senior centers. Senior centers are not getting the amount of money that they need to fix facilities, and when we had the money, they had to take approval from the chapters, and we have people that our center in Bluff does a good job of feeding whoever comes, but the need is great for them to have that food, and it's something that we are working. We're trying to find a solution. One of the works we try to figure out, Commissioner Harvey briefly touched about a summer program. They was supposed to start. It hasn't started because of lack of the flooring of the building. They have some of the paperwork taken care of, but we're in the process of looking a possibility of the senior center, the person that worked for the senior center teaming up with a building where maybe they can use the kitchen facility. We don't know. We're having a meeting coming up in 2 weeks where we're gonna go and trying to figure out how we can help seniors to be fed. And one of the things is hard. It's just the distance, conditions, and having a place to prepare the food. The offer that was given to them is a tent, two-party facilities, and be able to serve food, which the people that are in charge of doing that don't feel like that is workable. So we're trying to work on that. We did approach NRF for some funds for that, and there's some things that may be happening. We still are in the making. As far as wastewater, we have Ryan Barton. He is the main hydrologist for the Navajo Nation. Come and talk to us. It was very interesting to see him in a different setup. He's a very confident person, very articulated, but very well educated. I think he was I was a lot nervous when he came. He gave me a call. It's like he was going to a different territory, and we had a good conversation and about some of the things that he wanted to know what the county was doing. And he just wanted to be informed, basically. So that was a good visit from him. And with Navajo Mountain, I was hoping to go. They have what they call the Pioneer Days on the first Saturday in August, but this is a time where they look like it's not going to happen. It's just going to be families instead of being the whole town. They're still working on that. As far as community development, I have been working with what they call the LEFT grant, and it kind of slowed down because of the fire and things like that. But we are ready to take it on again, another project. As I work with the board, the trying to think as I go by different names. Anyway, it's a program that comes from United Way, and they don't call United Way, has another name, but it's called Souls, like for shoes, the bottom of the shoes, for Soul, S-O-U-L. And it coming to Blondie in August. I requested they come in August, used to come a little later. So the children the parents that plan to buy school shoes, they'll have that, and the children come, they get a foot measure, and it's happened there by Clark's, and I've been in the process of posting. I spent just a day, some time posting signs to alert the parents and not to start spending money on shoes because they're coming. Last year they have amazing shoes, beautiful shoes that everybody was wearing, very expensive shoes, and that comes as a part of a grant from Energy Fuel. They give the money and then they take the money and they go buy shoes from somebody for a good price and they bring that here to town. And so, and as far as the fire, I also want to express gratitude to the people that have come and help us. I had the opportunity, without even knowing that I would get to address them Saturday and talk to them about how grateful we are for the sacrifice that they make in coming and helping us. And they came from everywhere. And so I also want to acknowledge the, all our own workers, like the sheriff department, everybody that was out there, Tammy Gallego, everybody, they were getting little sleep, worrying about the fire, and it's things, like I said, are now over. So let's just continue praying, and that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As for me, I too echo as far as the work that's gone into the fire. We had a cooperators meeting every morning at 8 a.m. So you learn a lot about a fire after that many meetings and several public meetings as well. But we do appreciate the teams that have come in and also worked so closely with our local officials, from our sheriff's department to emergency services, which would be Tammy and her team and Sheriff Lacey. And so they really worked well, and the road department. I mean, everyone that was essential in our county they worked with, and I feel we're very cooperative in working with the public and listening to what we had to say, which was very important for the locals. Another question that has come to us specifically is regarding the fair and the junior livestock. When the fire first started, of course, it was very up in the air. Things look so much better now. We feel like we can make some determinations probably on Monday about how that's going to look and how that's going to come forth. If you go down to the fairgrounds right now, don't make a determination on that because they're bringing much of the equipment that they have used on the mountain down, and so it's quite full. But we feel that moving forward, we can have some information that we can share with the public on Monday. I also have been working. We're seeing the Mud Springs project kind of come to a close as far as getting done. The road will be finished hopefully by the end of next week. The fair or the parking lots thereafter, and NICA will be holding their first race September 11th and I believe the 12th. So we are looking forward to tentatively having a ribbon cutting on September 11th at the Mud Springs project in Spanish Valley. And then one other thing to know is weatherization. There's a weatherization program that gets funded, and it did get refunded in the spring. And what that does is it benefits the Navajo Nation for those who struggle with electricity and air conditioning and kind of just some basics for their living conditions. And it's a very important program for them and for the people down there. And so just one note, if you see that weatherization team, they're dealing with a tragedy. One of their own people, a young man, passed away on, I believe it was Wednesday. And so that weatherization team is kind of reeling from that to some degree. And so if your people see them down there, just be very sensitive to them and their needs. And it's an individual that they work very closely with. So I believe that is all I have to say. So thank you. And I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a few minutes you can stay? And you have a few minutes you can stay?
What's that?
We have a few minutes.